tell me if this sounds familiar. You've read the books, you've watched the videos, you've built morning routine, cold showers, meditation, gym. You know about discipline, you know about dopamine, about atomic habits, you can explain stoicism at a dining table.
I see it now. The path is clear. No longer a mystery, just execution.
You know what cortisol does to your body, and yet something still feels off. You are more educated about self-improvement than 99% people on this planet. Somehow you feel stuck. Not lazy, not ignorant, just stuck. If that's you, I'm going to tell you something that might be the most uncomfortable thing you've heard in a long time. Because the problem isn't that you need more self-improvement. The problem is that self-improvement become your new addiction. I want to tell you that I've never said this so clearly enough. When I came out from addiction, real addiction, substances, the kind that takes everything from you, I threw myself into self-improvement. And at first it felt like a salvation. Books, podcasts, routines. I was consuming everything that I could find. Waking up at 5 a.m., cold showers, journaling pages every morning. And it felt good. It felt like I was doing something right. Finally building the life I supposed to have. But slowly, without recognizing, something shifted. The self-improvement content started less to feel like a tool and more like a need. If I missed morning routine, anxiety. If I skipped journaling, guilt. If I wasn't reading, wasn't optimizing, wasn't growing, I felt like I was falling behind. Behind what? I didn't even know this. And here's the thing about addiction, real addiction, is that it always wears a disguise. Substances wore the disguise of relief. Self-improvement wore disguise of progress. But underneath both of them, there was one thing: avoidance. I wasn't improving myself. I was hiding inside the idea of improving myself. And the self-improvement industry, worth more than $40 billion, was more happy to help me do that. Here's what nobody in self-improvement space wants to admit: the industry doesn't profit from your transformation. It profits from your belief that you are not there yet. Think about it. Every book, every course, every YouTube video starts from the same premise. You're not enough as you are. You need to be better, faster, stronger, more disciplined and more optimized. And the moment you finish one book, there is another one waiting. Another system, another framework, another guru telling that their method is finally work. It never ends because it's designed to never end. There is a psychological mechanism that is called arrival fallacy, coined by psychologist Tal Ben-Shahar. It's the illusion that once you achieve something, once you build perfect routine, read enough books, become optimized version of yourself, you will finally feel okay. But the arrival never comes, because the goalpost always moves. And the self-improvement industry is built on making this goalpost moving again and again. Here's another thing it does. It turns pain into a product. Feeling lost? Here's the product of how to find yourself. Feeling anxious? Here's a book on Stoic philosophy. Feeling empty? Here's 30-day challenge. Your one becomes a market and you become consumer of solutions to problems that are constantly redefining. So you always need the next solution. I'm not saying that all self-improvement content is worthless. Clearly, I make this content in this space myself, but there's a massive difference between content that actually helps you move forward and the content that just making you feel like you're moving forward while keeping you perfectly in place. Here's the neuroscience beneath all of this. When you consume self-improvement content, a motivational video, a chapter from Atomic Habits, a podcast about discipline, your brain releases dopamine. Not because you did something, but because you thought about doing something. The anticipation of growth triggers the same things and the same reward system as the growth itself, which means your brain literally cannot find the difference between reading a book about discipline and being disciplined. It gets the hit either way. And hits are easier to get from a video than from hours of focused deep work. So your brain starting to be incredibly efficient, starts to prefer the hit over the work. You start to feel productive while being completely still. This is not a personal failure. This is a neuroscience, bro. But awareness is the beginning of exit, because once you see mechanism, you can't unsee it. Every time you reach for another video, another book, another framework, you can ask yourself honestly, am I learning something I need, or I'm just getting a hit? So what's the alternative? Not ignorance, not giving up on growth, but a completely different relationship with it. First, consume less, apply more. Most people are operating at 90% of consumption to 10% of application. Flip it. One book applied is a completely different thing than 15 books just half read. One principle lived daily is worth more than hundreds of principles that you can understand. Stop collecting insights, start testing them in your actual life. Second, sit with discomfort instead of medicating it. Here's the truth. Most self-improvement consumption happens in a discomfort moment. You feel lost, you watch a video. You feel anxious, you open a podcast. You feel empty, you start a new book. And the content temporarily soothes the discomfort without even addressing what's underneath that. Real growth happens when you sit with your discomfort long enough to understand it. Not every feeling needs a framework. Sometimes it just needs your honest attention. Third, measure output, not input. Stop measuring how much you consume. Start measuring what you built, what you created, and what you changed. Not I read 20 books this year, but what is different in my life because of those books. That question is uncomfortable, which is exactly why most people never ask it. I still consume content, I still read, I still reflect, I still learn. But it feels different now. It's not a hunger I'm trying to feed. It's a tool I pick up when I need it and put down when I don't. Because the version of me that compulsively consuming self-improvement content wasn't growing, he was hiding. Hiding from discomfort of actually building something, hiding from the risk of failure, hiding from the silence that comes when you stop consuming and have to sit with who you actually are. Real self-improvement is not a content category. It's quite unglamorous daily decision to show up your own life, even when no book told you to, even when no video inspired you, even when you don't feel ready. That version of growth nobody's selling, because you can't package it, you can't put it in a course, you just can't live it. If this hits something real in you, drop a comment with it, press like and subscribe, and let's grow together. See you in the next one. Have a good flight, fam.